Today's video is about druids. I'm talking about the Superstorm, the Spirit of the Forest, and the Avatar of Wrath. We're going to be getting all pops with just these three tier 5 towers. This was suggested to me by one of my commenters in a previous video called Birdsy. Thank you very much for the challenge, and thank you very much for submitting me the code so I can try it out actually. So let us get started with what is possibly the best spot to put one of our starters down here. This one's going to be our Spirit of the Forest. We're going to be doing Spirit of the Forest first. Then we're going to be getting Superstorm, and then Avatar of Wrath will be our last tier 5 to acquire, because I feel like our ability to chuck back DDTs will be more important than the actual damage in which we can inflict upon them, because Spirit of the Forest will always be up and continuously damaging everything. But obviously we're going to need our Submerge and Support tower down at some point before round 24, otherwise we'll not be able to pop any camo balloons. But then once we get Spirit of the Forest, then camo balloons will be a non-issue, since the vines on the ground pop them by default, kind of like spikes do. But the most difficult aspect, I believe, of this particular scenario is the beginning phase of this game. Being able to pop all of these balloons without a single one escaping, because when you try out someone else's challenge rather than editing your own challenge, what's ended up happening is that if you lose, then you have to start from round 6 all over again in CHIMPS. So that is very unique, and also the first video that I've done on the channel where I'm covering someone else's challenge, and more specifically a challenge which somebody has suggested to me. So thank you ever so much, Birdsy, for the creation of this challenge, because I did mention in my boomerang, like all pops with that, getting all tier 5s of those towers, that I think that druids are possible. And I'm glad it's going to be the case, because it definitely is possible, considering, well, this challenge has been submitted and therefore it is possible. So there we go. Also, where we can place our submarine will be discounted, which is lovely. We'll be getting Heart of Thunder and then Heart of Oak, so that no more regrow issues when it comes to a huge amount of regrows which are going to spawn at any given time. Because thanks to Heart of Oak, all of our attacks with this particular druid will be able to remove the regrow aspect of all of them. Also, in this particular spot right here, I think we get +1 damage on everything, and in the early game, that +1 is pretty much everything that we need in order to succeed in this. At the end of this round, end of the next round, we are going to be plopping down our submarine, so that then we don't have to worry about round 24 being an issue. But reason why I turn off auto start is so that I can place this down without to get any pops. And there we have it on the field with twin guns. Not the airburst darts, but just twin guns. So hopefully that will be enough. Gonna take a little bit of luck, or we just actually just plop down the other druid next to it. Thank you. But that's gonna... Actually, we can do it here and now, actually. There we go. And I do want to place it so that it's at the very, very edge. And you're going to understand why later, because this is going to be our Avatar of Wrath. But we're only going to be doing 015. Thorn Swarm is very important for Avatar of Wrath. We don't need it to pop leads, because our Superstorm and Spirit of the Forest is going to take care of all leads. We just need it to deal with the bad. Oh, no, 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 no. We're going to have to restart that again and upgrade our other druid. Thank you very much. Let's see. Yeah, go Thorn Swarm. Actually, we'll go Druid Reach as well. Why not? Having more range is never ever a bad option, but we need the Thorn Swarm so that we're always able to pop all of the peppers at any given point in time, because those purples were partially immune to our attacks, which is not good. Round 27 is here. A bunch of balloons, but thanks to the Heart of Thunder, their numerical advantage is now their bane, because there are many more balloons now to chain the lightning. Excellent, round 28. Actually, we're going to go Druid of a Jungle. And then we'll be able to start popping leads from afar. But if you manage to get this so that it's kind of next to this little bit of a track here, there is a chance of where camo balloons are able to be decamofied even if it's outside of the submarine's submerge range. And you're going to see when we next get a bunch of camo balloons. See, look, there are camo balloons here, but yet they're being decamofied, even though the fact that this submarine cannot reach that part of the map. Very strange in the mechanics of all this, but I'm not complaining, but it's just an observation that I see here. It shouldn't be happening, but I am not complaining nonetheless. Also, we're going to get Pop Plus because this is going to be absolutely necessary in order to pop the early game Moabs. Right, round 40 is here, and we're going to see the importance of having the Pop Plus at our disposal. I wish this tree would disappear though. And we also got Jungle's Bounty as well. Look at that. If it wasn't for Fawn Swarm, we wouldn't be able to throw out enough fawns in order to pop the Moab itself. So that's kind of important. Also, in a way, this can just about reach this magic tile over here, which is going to be where we're going to be placing our Superstorm Druid over here so we can get it for a little less money. Also, it's kind of thematically appropriate to have a bunch of trees and Druids, well, being creatures of nature, to be surrounded by a bunch of trees. Even though it is very wintry and very Christmassy, it is still trees nonetheless. Now, as you notice, the fawns that summon out from the Jungle's Bounty, it takes longer to pop ceramics and from there like fortified ceramics because there's more layers to chew down. It's not instantaneous, but the only real advantage of taking longer is that I think the spawns that come out of the ground just stay around a little bit longer, or maybe just last for the same amount of time, but it just takes that bit longer to pop them, the ceramics that is. So we still have over 158,000 of our least cash part of this challenge, but I think we're going to not exceed it any given time. Let's see, here is another one here. I'm going to switch you to first so that when the Moab itself is popped, then from there, the fawns that come out of the ground are always targeting the frontmost balloons because it's going to be very key. And hopefully we'll be able to get Spirit Force before round 60. That's the goal anyways. Let's see. These next few rounds are going to be very difficult because we have to solely rely on Jungle's Bounty in order to attack all of the straggler balloons that makes its way to the far end of the track. But 1-2 tree is quite a long map, which is going to be very advantageous. And having the Superstorm over here is going to be very advantageous because the Superstorms will essentially be able to hit like where the 22 mark is and be able to chuck all of the DDTs back towards the firstmost parts of the track, where the Spirit Force can continue doing damage against them. Rely on Superstorm and rely on Spirit Force to continuously do damage. Spirit Force chucks them back, and Superstorm chucks them back, and Spirit Force continuously damages them. I think I already said it in right order anyways, but it's just me. Me and my tired brain. Let's see, we need just over 7,500 more, thank you very much, in order to do this in. Round 56 is here, and sometimes they are decamofied over to the left side of the 14 number. Isn't that just exquisite? Yeah, these next few rounds I think are going to be the most difficult of this challenge, because look at all these. We have to solely rely on the Jungle Bounty's spawns that it spawns out of the ground, in order to catch all of these remnants that come along this way. Just like that, we can do it. We can do it. 58. Yeah, discount is nice over here, but honestly I prefer the discount over here, since it's a later part of a track. And we can more or less rely on these towers as well to then clear up any remnants from the Superstorm itself. But I don't think anything's going to really get past the Superstorm. Like, I think we'll be able to just about afford all tier 5 towers, but it's going to be cutting it close. Round 59. Oh, this is really ugly, really ugly. There we go. I think we are pretty much secured until DDTs. I don't think anything is going to get past our defenses. And to be honest, I love Spirit of the Forest. It is one of my favorite towers. It is one of the most diverse towers which you can have in the entire game, really. Like, the only weakness it has by default are leads, but if you pursue top path, then you have no weaknesses, essentially. Aside from a huge amount of single Moabs, if you catch my drift, which are high RBE value, like COMGs and Bads. Like, I think those are its weaknesses, but regular Moabs like these are no problem, depending on the track length. Round 63, a bunch of ceramics spawned out, but guess what? The combination of the vines on the track and the thorns that it swarms out of the ground. Swarms. You know what I'm saying. Sometimes I misspeak all the time. Round 65 is here. We're nearly there when it comes to the trees, and once 23 is gone, that is when we're going to be summoning our top path druid into the fray, and hopefully it will be in range of the pop plus druid, so that we get a little bit of a attack speed bonus. Camo balloons are non-issue now, even like the Submerge and Support is only viable, or necessity, sorry, very early on in the game when we don't have the vines on the track. The amount of love and support on my videos is truly loving. Thank you ever so much to everyone who's watched my videos. Even if you don't particularly like the video in general, I still thoroughly appreciate your time watching, commenting, liking, subscribing, all that lovely jazz. Like, I didn't expect to get to the point that I am. I expected like I expected like one person to watch my videos, to be honest. Like, I'm unfortunately a person that has quite a low self-esteem, and that's just me being honest here. I don't feel like I'm like hugely qualified to have people's times here and there, and that sounds quite pessimistic of myself, but I'm prefer to be the person that thinks too low of themselves rather than too high of themselves, and be that kind of incredibly arrogant, up their own way, you don't see the sunshine kind of person sort of thing. Let's see, round 75 is, and round 76 is just instantaneously gone. So now we're on round 77, and there we go. It is within the range of the Pop Plus Druid. And we have our discounts applied to all of our upgrades. So back to what I was talking about. I'm not a person that has a huge, I don't even know why I pressed spacebar previously, but I'm not a person with a huge amount of self-esteem with themselves. And to be honest, that's just something that I've always had within my entire life. Like, there are lots of videos which I've made, like, on this channel and on my other channel as well, where I could have done it a lot better. Like, I could have like covered certain areas a lot more, or I could have explained things better, or if I wasn't so tired on that day, maybe I would not muck up my pronunciation of certain things. And it just goes part of the course really for me as a person. Like, I misspeak a lot of times, and it's not like acting or anything like that. That's just me as a person. I'm not what you call the most well-spoken individual that there is out there. But then again, who could say that, really? Round 79 is here, and yeah, it's no surprise that the Spirit Forest is going to get the most pops out of all of this. Like, there's just not even a competition at the moment. So the next upgrade we're going to get is Superstorm, and then Avatar of Wrath. There's no point pursuing Heart of Oak because, yeah, that. And then there's no point producing Heart of Vengeance because Heart of Vengeance only really works when lives are being lost. We're on CHIMPS. Oh hey, it's a 0MG. This is going to take ages. Despite my low, quite self-esteem, I am thoroughly thankful to each and every one of you who has given me your love and support over the past few weeks and months and stuff like that. I thoroughly thoroughly enjoy making all these videos. Actually, I'm having a lovely time exploring through different two-tower chimp scenarios. I think my proudest video at the moment when it comes to two-tower chimps is my own OG of the Crossbow Master and Ultra Boost. Like, even though I felt really drained and tired and I really wanted to get this challenge done because round 99 was a huge bane of that challenge, but I feel like the suffering is worth it when you achieve the results in which you desire, and in this case it was victory. Once the last of the regrowth ceramics were popped, I was like, that is the mark. That is where I claim my victory and all that jazz. But yeah, round 82 has gone down very well, and round 83, super ceramics, super fortified ceramics, super regrowth ceramics, none of them have a chance. And the reason why those mobs kind of popped almost instantly is because of the thorns that spawn out of the ground. I'm not talking about the vines that appear throughout the track constantly. I'm talking about ones that pops the balloons. They can also affect Moabs as well, not just balloons themselves. And also, we nearly now have money for the Superstorm, which is going to be pivotal in controlling the DDTs on the map. Good news is we have money for the Superstorm. Bad news is these ZOMG exclusive rounds are going to take absolutely ages to get through because it takes a lot of time on the track for the Spirit of the Forest to be able to pop these things. But once they start popping, then the weaker layers will have no chance. And this is what the Superstorm does. Chucks them further back. And the Spirit of the Forest gets a second taste or third taste or fourth taste on that particular part of the ground. Popping Moabs. Round 86 is here. Our last upgrade will be the Avatar of Wrath, which is going to be absolutely essential when it comes to the bad. Neither of these two on their own can deal with the bad. But this, with these other two, we will ensure victory in this scenario. Also, because of Spirit of the Forest and Superstorm, this has become entirely redundant now. But it was entirely necessary for the early stages of the game. Just watch as the pop counter incrementally climbs up very slowly, but it will always be climbing no matter the occasion. Unless, of course, there are no balloons on the track on the round because we pop them so quickly, which can be the case sometimes. You can pop balloons on the round so quickly, but the round is still going on, but there are no balloons on the track. I swear how slow the ZMGs move. I swear I can see the sun moving outside. Even though it's blinding, it is not blinding enough to be able to stop me from then being able to look at my monitor and look at this very, very bright track. Oh dear, once you discover dark mode, you don't want to go back to light mode when it comes to the interface. Dark mode is much more pleasing for your eyes. Never ever turn back to light mode, otherwise you will be blinded for the rest of the day, or even your life if you're unlucky. Round 90 is here. The first set of DTs are out onto the track. And honestly, that would be much harder if we didn't have top path for Spirit of the Forest. And if we pursued bottom path, then what on earth are you doing? Have you never played Bloons Tower Defense 6? Why are you even watching this video if you don't have an interest in the game? Or maybe you're just here for my commentary, and thank you if that is also the case alongside Bloons Tower Defense 6. Just watching these ZOMGs slowly meet their demise. If they get too far on the track, well, the Superstorm can chuck them back. Oh, I love the Superstorm. It is impenetrable on like chimps runs the size of bad. The bad is the scene's only weakness, and if there are a gargantuous number of Moabs on the field, then Pierce will be its weakness, actually. Let's see, it's very good to have it along here because of the fact that the Superstorm can sometimes travel within a horizontal line, affecting everything. But here is pretty good. I love it, actually, in this position, because it means it can continuously chuck them back. And it affects multiple parts of a track as well. Not just one part of a track, but multiple parts of a track. Which makes this an incredibly ideal tower to have, rather than pursuing Avatar of Wrath first. Otherwise, we will be struggling with the DDTs. But if we pursue top path, then we will struggle with the bad. So we have to kind of generalize the purposes of each of these towers. This one's for chucking back, this one's for continuous damage, and this is going to be the bad eater. Round at 94 is slowly but surely making its way to a wholesome conclusion. And when I say wholesome, it's not for the balloons themselves. Round 95, a bunch of lead and purple camo regrows. Oh dear, everything that a wizard loves. There we go. Yeah, if they get too far, the Superstorm chucks them further back. And then they get round 2 of the same bit of vine in which they were gnawed on. But these just gnaw a little bit harder closer to the Spear of the Forest. Somebody suggested, actually, that bottom path should increase the amount of area which the strongest of the vines should affect, literally. So let's say, with the strongest amounts, it has like 2 more over here which can affect, and then these will be able to go back 2 more, like the second strongest ones, from their position, and therefore more of a track will be able to be covered with the stronger vines. And I think that's actually a good hint to actually have, to give the benefits to both cross paths, because with the Spear of the Forest, the only advantage you have of going bottom path is its ability itself. And if you are surrounded by farms themselves, and from there you would get more money per ability activation. Round 97 is here, and these are gonna take such a long time to pop. These fortified ZMGs, but at least they won't make it to the other end of the track. Look at that. Look at the damage we're doing. It looks like we're barely making a dent in these ZOMGs. And yes, I'm not going to edit out this particular round, because this is the longest of the rounds. This is the most gruesome of the rounds. This is going to be the longest of the rounds, actually, because round 98, believe it or not, is not going to take as long as this one because of the RBE per target. But at least these are kind of divided. There we go. Chuck you back. Finally, there is some work going on. Like how scattered these are, actually. Deal with all of them independently. It is called divide and conquer, where you divide your targets up and deal with them all independently. Unless, of course, you're Spear of the Forest, and you can affect everything simultaneously, because it's almost like Pierce. It's a non-existent factor. If you ignore a factor for long enough, it becomes non-existent. Let's see, round 98. Yeah, the ZMGs again are going to take the longest amount of time, but because of the amount of targets that we have on the field, it means we can chuck out more Superstorms at any given point in time. You think you're going to make it to the end of a track? Oh, you're in a big surprise there. Avatar of Wrath is here, and we have ourselves 6,140 left of our cash, which we could have used like for Superstorm being elsewhere on the track, actually. Round 99, fortified DDTs are gone. Yeah, you thought you were going to make your way to the end of the track? Well, I've got news for you. That is not going to be the case, and this Avatar of Wrath is fired up. But you're going to take a little bit of time, but not as long as the ZMGs. You're not painful as ZMGs when it comes to speed, but you're more painful because, well, you're immune to pretty much anything aside damage debuffs to you. Let's see, Avatar of Wrath is doing humongous work against these. Lovely, 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 lovely. Yes, Chuck for DDT's back. Thank you ever so much. Yeah, the Avatar of Wrath will not pop DDTs because of Thorn Swarm, but without Thorn Swarm, we would have a much more harder time against the bat itself. And that is all pops with all 3 tier 5 druids. What an achievement that is, actually. Nearly 1.7 million from the Spirit of the Forest. I didn't mean to click that. Lovely Jays. 1.669. 44,731 and 328,000. I didn't even manage. Oh yeah, I can upvote it, obviously, and love it. Thank you for the suggestion, Birdsy, and thank you very much for creating this channel for me. So, challenge for me. I created this channel myself. Thank you very much. Lovely. So, if you have a challenge you'd like to see me do, like, let's say, another set of tier 5 towers where we get all 3 of them and get all the pops on, then please, by all means, leave it in a comment section below, where I'll be able to do that. I think Buccaneers could be possible. But then again, we wouldn't even need the Submerge and Support. But then again, we could use Submerge and Support with pairing with, like, Carrier Flagship with Hot Shots. Pirate Lord with Double Shot. Yeah, Trade Empire with Hot Shots. I don't see a benefit for Double Shots then and there. With that particular trait, remember we have to be able to plonk down the tower on round 6 from the get-go, so can't suggest Ace, can't suggest Heli, or Mortar, or Dartlane, or definitely not Super, or Spikes. None of those. I tried Engineer, but that's a bit of a struggle. And you can't afford Ultra Boost as well if you get the other 2 tier 5s. Thank you all so much for watching and take care of yourselves. Also as well, Beast Handler won't be possible because of the amount of money required in order to even get one of the tier 5s because of how the tier 5s work. Thank you for so much for watching and take care of yourselves.